All right, welcome into the Kodiak Broncos Podcast. I'm the Kodiak, and today I'm here to talk about Bo Nix and the fact that the national media cannot handle the fact that they were wrong on him. But before we get into it, I just want to say, leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're not already. Let's dive right into it. So today was a very interesting day in Broncos country because there was a lot of discourse about Bo Nix. It's okay to have an opinion about a prospect, and it's okay to not think that a guy is very good. But these people were all over dunking on Bo Nix after the Week 2 game against Pittsburgh when it was clear that he had a lot of room to grow. And even up until the Saints game where, he missed that throw in between Franklin and it was either Trautman or Adkins. I can't remember exactly who it was. Maybe it had been Krull. But a lot of people were dunking on Bo Nix. And, it's fine to have an opinion about a prospect. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm not here to provide discourse about that. I'm not here to provide, anything, to talk about prospects because ultimately different opinions are what makes the world go around, especially in the NFL come draft time. But when it really comes down to it, honestly, a lot of people cannot handle the fact that they just missed on Bo Nix. And instead of, just trying to make it right and be like, all right, this guy, he could be something. A lot of people are attacking the fan base. A lot of people are just saying that, they're oddly confident in Drew Lock 2.0. Yeah. So we have this first one from a guy named Surgeon. Now, to be fair, I have never heard of any of these analysts. Maybe I should because I'm, trying to break in to the NFL world media-wise, and I've never heard of any of these dudes, but that's not to discredit their opinion. That's just me saying that, I don't know, these aren't like well-informed, plugged-in people into Broncos country and what's going on with our team. I feel like a lot of national media members when it comes to the Broncos and, in particular Bo Nix have really, really succumbed to take lock. And people want to find anything to support their narrative of how a guy was as a prospect, saying that the Broncos reached. Bo Nix was a third-round talent. Sean Payton doesn't know what he's doing. But this one from Rotosurgeon, he says that rookie Bo Nix, he shows the stats of rookie Bo Nix and Gardner Minshew. And hey, the raw stats, it's not wrong to compare them as in raw stats, but you have to realize that Bo Nix has played probably 3 games at this point that is better than anything Gardner Minshew did as a rookie. And I don't know how you could look at what Bo Nix did versus Atlanta and what he did against Carolina that shows you that he is not the future of this franchise. Now, it's okay to think that, he's not a high ceiling dude and that he's going to be very reliant on the system around him. That's what I would have liked a lot more than, comparing him to rookie Gardner Minshew, especially because the rushing yards per attempt. I guarantee, Bo Nix is way, way better than Gardner Minshew ever was as a runner. But yeah, so just look at this. It's Bo Nix and Gardner Minshew. It's just a side-by-side comparison of their stats. And yeah, the replies are just going as well as you can expect. Now, difficult for me to see something better than Derek Carr in the best case scenario. Awful, and I stand by it. Mediocre stats don't change my opinion. So the game he played against Atlanta, where he literally set a rookie record of 80-plus completion percentage, 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, something that an NFL rookie has never done. I guess that's mediocre. But yeah, so here we go with this next one. So Steven Ruiz, Broncos fans are oddly confident in Drew Lock, might have to fire up the sequel soon. So this was posted today, which means it's obviously talking about Bo Nix. And as you can imagine, the replies, this is just, I have just no desire to engage with this other than the fact that this is probably just rage bait. And as you can expect, Broncos Twitter is absolutely cooking this guy. Bo Nix achievements, Rookie of the Month, October, AFC Offensive Player of the Week, Air Player of the Week, first Broncos quarterback to win Offensive Player of the Year, first rookie quarterback to ever throw 4 touchdowns, 300 yards, and an 80% completion percentage. So yeah, once again, this just reeks of take lock. To compare him to Drew Lock, it's absolutely incredible. And this graphic, I like this a lot more than whatever, stuff that those dorks are putting out there. Better hurry, clock is ticking. At least you have him ranked over Bryce Young now. That's true. That's true. What does he have to do to you to prove that he's better than Jacoby Brissett? Yeah, I don't know. Once again, I don't know this dude. Okay, he's the ringer. Okay, he writes at the ringer. So Thor Nystrom. Okay. Sean Payton panic drafting Bo Nix round 1 is indeed one of the funniest moments in recent draft history. Now, this guy has not said anything about Bo Nix in the past month when he's really started to take off. So, yeah, Sean Payton somehow winding up with the best quarterback in the draft is indeed somehow one of the funniest moments in recent draft history. And, yeah, either way, so I don't know. I just don't really know how people get paid to write about this stuff. Now, one thing I will go off on this guy for is he's a fantasy football writer, and I think that if you thought Bo Nix was going to be bad for fantasy, then I just question the process, because the main thing is that fantasy dudes look for. Fantasy scouting is a lot more like analytics and probability based, so a lot of the dudes were in on him just because, you know, he has a decent floor as a runner, even if he was a bad quarterback at real football. And also, you know, the price on Bo Nix as compared to a lot of other first-round quarterbacks, if you're playing in a dynasty league, was not high at all. Especially in best ball leagues, he was basically dirt cheap. So, yeah. Sean Payton panic drafting Bo Nix, one of the funniest moments in recent draft history. I don't know. Now, grading rookie quarterbacks. So, this guy, he gives, I don't remember this guy's name. He gave Caleb Williams an A- for, you know, his game against the Bears. I don't know. I didn't watch this game against the Bears or against the Packers. I don't know if he like actually had, you know, those sort of plays. But Caleb Williams, he's Caleb Williams, and people are gonna, you know, stick to their guns prospect wise. And he is, don't get me wrong, he does have otherworldly talent. Like the disastrous season that they've had with Eberflus does not change my opinion on him that much. And yeah, let's see what he says about Drake May. All right, B+, CJ Stroud, C, not invalid. Anthony Richardson, A. All right, cool. But now I'm going to scroll up to Bo Nix. Individually didn't match the stats. I agree that Sean Payton had a great game plan, but listen. Just look at it. B-, 80% completion percentage, 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. And my only question is, why wasn't Russell Wilson doing this last year? Why wasn't Russell Wilson having these statistical improbable games that Bo Nix has had this year? When we had pretty much the exact same group of weapons, we had pretty much the exact same offensive line, except for a center that left in free agency and got a big contract with the Tennessee Titans. So theoretically, our O-line was supposed to be downgraded. And yeah, exact same group of weapons. Actually, last year we had Jerry Jeudy, who just this past week put up like 150 yards with the Browns. So again, you just can't be paid to write about football and seriously say that 28 of 33 for 370 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions is a B- game. It is probably, since I've started watching football in 2010, it is probably on the short list of probably top 5 or 6 rookie quarterback games I've ever seen. Now, and then here we go to Jarrett Bailey. So this guy is pretty much the leader of the discharge against Bo Nix on Twitter right now, and Sarah Bettinger, host of Locked On Broncos and the site expert over there at Predominantly Orange. Great dude, great Broncos follow, one of the leaders of the Broncos headspace along with Cody Rourke. He is saying, you are outing yourself, eat the humble pie and be done with it. It's been 11 games. I've seen this movie plenty of time before. So he played very well in Atlanta, but that doesn't erase all his shortcomings that people were rightfully worried about and critical coming into this game. So, and the draft. So my question to you is 28 for 33, 370 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's not enough. Like, honestly, that's not enough. And Mac Jones looked good as a rookie too. Kenny Pickett had a game-winning drive against Baltimore that made people think he was the future. And I tried to be as respectful as I could with my reply. And listen, I didn't want to stir stuff up because he has plenty of dudes doing that. Like, this has 293 replies, deservedly so, of people just absolutely eviscerating him in the comments. And that's exactly what should be going on here, because you just can't be this reckless if you have that big of a platform. Once again, didn't know who this guy was, even though a lot of the people that I follow know exactly who he is. I don't read SB Nation. I don't read, whatever. I actually found out from looking at him that he's a Bills fan. or at least he might not be, but I assume he's a Bills fan because he's writing articles about like Khalil Shakir, Sean McDermott, and he just writes about the Buffalo Bills a lot. So I imagine he's a Bills fan. But regardless, once again, another guy who I can imagine doesn't really pay attention to the AFC West that much and is probably just looking to validate his draft process, his pre-draft process, and he's saying that Mac Jones looked good as a rookie too. Kenny Pickett had a game-winning drive against Baltimore, and what I said back to him in my reply is that Bo Nix is more likely to sustain way more than Mac Jones did, way more than Kenny Pickett did. First of all, because Bo Nix has probably had 3 or 4 games that is way better than anything Jones or Pickett did as a rookie. And also, Bo Nix had a game-winning drive against the Chiefs. He won the game. The offense won the game. The field goal protection unit did not. And I think that was probably the most disappointing part about losing that game is that he would have had such a big signature win on his resume if the rest of the team was able to follow suit. But regardless, I digress. I was trying to say that, okay, Nix is more likely to sustain because we have real offensive infrastructure with Sean Payton and a good offensive line. The worst part of our team right now is our weapons. Our skill position guys, they're not good. We have Courtland Sutton and a whole bunch of other developmental projects behind him. Granted, they've come into their own these past few weeks, but once again, I've been saying on this channel numerous times, the Broncos need to rethink their skill position strategy next year. But Mac Jones and Kenny Pickett did not have good coaching. Arthur Smith and Joe Judge and Matt Patricia on the offensive side of the ball, yeah, those guys aren't good at coaches. Actually, it wasn't Arthur Smith. It was Matt Canada. So, yeah, I don't know. Once again, maybe those guys were just naturally bad. Maybe their development was torpedoed by the fact that they had absolute imbeciles. But there's nothing that is going to happen to this Broncos team, barring Zach Strief maybe getting hired somewhere else in an unforeseen role, like maybe he gets the shot to be an offensive coordinator somewhere. I just don't really see that happening. But in the event that does happen, okay, the O-line is going to regress, but there's still 4 highly paid guys, 4 highly paid veterans on that offensive line. And I just think that Nix is likely to sustain. I think that he's a lot more likely to sustain. And, yeah, I'm just wondering what kind of takes you can have that make, like, that just, I don't know. Brother, I muted so many things yesterday. You call him bust Kenny Pickett, now you're acting the victim. Yeah, almost like I was right about Bo Nix. So this was during the Seattle game. This was during the Seattle game week 1 where there was plenty to be critical of Nix of, but man, people were lapping Nix after week 1 against Seattle. So yeah, regardless. Now, Steven Ruiz, this is the guy who was writing about the NFL and also said that Broncos fans were oddly confident in Drew Lock. So I'm just going to scroll all the way down here. And once you're down here, you'll see that, Andy Dalton is 29th, his 29th ranked quarterback. So a guy that, has been benched once already by his team this year. Jacoby Brissett, who got benched by his team this year, is the 30th best. Daniel Jones is the 31st best. So I don't know how you're paid to write about football, and you could confidently say, and you could publish something that says that Daniel Jones has been a better quarterback this year than Bo Nix. And I understand that a lot of his process seems analytic-based, but these numbers are heavily, heavily skewed towards the first part of the year. And to be completely honest, that's fine, like if that's your process. But when I watched Bo Nix at Oregon, okay, so this is the thing, is that he's just trying to validate his preseason take locks. When I watched Bo Nix at Oregon, I don't know why that disappeared. When I watched Bo Nix at Oregon, I didn't see the strong-armed, unflappable passer. So, you have seen an entirely different quarterback, an entirely different display of skills from Bo Nix that you saw at Oregon. So, okay, you watched him at Oregon. Guess what? They ran a gimmicky offense where there were a lot of screens involved. It was heavily dependent on yak from Evan Stewart, Tez Johnson, Troy Franklin, who got drafted to the NFL, Terrence Ferguson, and a bunch of other dudes that are going to at least be in the NFL. And he can sling it with sidearm delivery. It could be enough for Payton to work with while he fixes some bigger issues in Nix's game. In the preseason, Nix didn't appear any more comfortable in the pocket, so what stood out in August was his arm strength while throwing on the move. So this guy, I think he hasn't updated this since August. I mean, that's the only way this would make sense. This is the only way that it would make sense. And yeah, overall, this is just, I don't know. I don't know how you can't at least not update that. I mean, you have 35 guys to talk about every week, so if you can't update at least one of those, I don't know. Rodgers isn't the elite physical talent he once was, but he's checking out of bad plays, reading the defense quickly. The Jets' offense looks more viable, which proves Rodgers is still an asset. I mean, all right, buddy. Yeah, so people are just really, really trying to validate their takes, and Broncos country is not having any of it. And you know what? We're an excited fan base right now, and I don't blame any of us. And people who just can't handle to admit that they were wrong about Bo Nix, they're eating a lot of crow right now, and I hope that we can continue to eat crow. And the only way to make people go against their pre-draft takes is to play well. Honestly, I didn't think Josh Allen was going to be anything in the NFL. And guess what? He's proven me wrong, and I was happy to be proven wrong because ultimately I want a good product, and I want these guys to play well when inevitably I'm going to be forced to watch every NFL team at some point this year because of how many primetime games there are to go around. But regardless, that does it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.